Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today, remember when I brought up that statement from the Joe Rogan Experience with Dave Smith and Douglas Murray? And Douglas Murray said every second or third house is booby-trapped by Hamas in Gaza, so that's why the Israeli military has to come in and blow it all up. Well, I heard someone else very recently use that same exact excuse of why Gaza is fucking flattened. But first, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. Thank you. Also, I have that little saying, description box, please donate, share, because I used to read them all off individually. So now I just say one little statement that I never wrote down. I just made it up and I just memorized it, I guess, by accident. Whatever. Also, check out the link for Discord, my brand new, spanking new Discord. Link in the description box. All right. So let's just start off with the clip of Douglas Murray saying some absurd shit that, like, when I heard it at the time, remember, this is, I don't know when was this, like, months ago, right? When Dave Smith and Douglas Murray debated, right? On Rogan. When I first heard that statement that every second or third house either has, like, Hamas weapons in it or booby-trapped with explosives, I'm like, there's like 2 million people there, right? That's a lot of fucking, like, that means Hamas is massive, and they should just go on a full-blown, ground war and just fuck Israel up, bro. They got so many fucking people. Maybe they are, actually. Maybe they do have more than we realize, and they're waiting for something to happen. That something's going to be explained in the near the end of the video by Mr. Tony Aguilar when he's talking to Tucker Carlson. But first, let's just play this clip so you know what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Why is this so normal that these
Turn the volume up.
every civilian building like this and every second or third house in Gaza is a weapons dump or a place that you enter the tunnels from? But
Now, let me turn that up. Because I had to turn the volume up. So let me play that again.
to the cardiologists. I mean, why? Why is this so normal that these every civilian building like this and every second or third house in Gaza is a weapons dump or a place that you enter the tunnels from? But the reason why the devastation, which it is,
That's a lot.
in the north in particular, but also in Rafah and elsewhere, is what it is because every time the IDF went into an area where they had told the civilians to leave, the Hamas terrorists that remained were in civilian buildings and booby-trapped a very large number of the buildings. So what they did as they proceeded through those areas of the Gaza to clear them was to set off munitions, which the American military and others use, which sets off secondary explosions in places that are booby-trapped. And much of what you see in the photographs that you see and many other people have seen from Gaza is the result of that.
I'm going to stop him there. Now, what has been reported is that Israel doesn't let anyone take any aerial footage of no cameras of aerial footage of Gaza. Now, why would they do that if it's simply explained? Thank you, Douglas Murray, by the way. He simply explains it. Well, there's Hamas in every fucking building, and you got to level it. And then you got to bulldoze it once it's leveled. And then you got to make sure no one can live there again, at least for the time being. So all these people's houses, that when, the very polite and generous and human rights loving Israel says, hey, leave your houses, we're about to blow shit up over here. As soon as they leave, Hamas comes in and puts booby traps everywhere. Even though it's pretty well known practice by Israel to bulldoze housing. But for some reason, Hamas is like, all right, just throw some booby traps in there. Now, I'm not denying that as being possible in reality, but every second or third house or more, that's a lot, dude. That is a lot. And once again, I hear of a different strategy that Hamas might be using. We're going to see that in the very last video that I play, but I just want to show you where Douglas Murray gets his information from. Let's just show you that. And also, let's be honest here. I'm sorry, Dave, but this is what I feel when I'm seeing these arguments. When you're debating someone like Douglas Murray and you don't see a fucking snake in the room, and you don't call it out as like what it is. I don't know what to say. We've all saw the photographs and stuff like that. Like, have we seen the aerial footage, Douglas Murray? Don't worry, I got some of that too. But first, let's hear where Douglas Murray gets his talking points from. Here we go.
In the southern town of Rafah, near the Sinai Desert in Egypt, and that town has been flattened. And you have been accused of genocide. How do you respond to that?
Well, as Ambassador Huckabee said, if we're practicing genocide, we're surely doing a very bad job of it, because we could have, basically eliminated the entire population of Gaza, but we went the other direction. We did something that no army in history ever did. We're supplying humanitarian food to the enemy's population because we distinguish between combatants and non-combatants. We're putting...
apparently very poorly, according to eyewitnesses, who, once again, would more, like, as far as the guy's background, would more likely have allegiance and favoritism towards Israel than someone like Hamas or, obviously, civilians in Gaza. But that's not what this guy reported on. The Tony Aguilar guy, who's also saying, don't worry, I'm talking to people. There's plenty of other people ready to start talking too. He's like, I'm maybe like one of the first, but you're going to hear a lot more people. So this fucking psycho is going to lie to your faces. Thank you, Fox News, for providing the platform to allow that without any real pushback. Let's be honest. Is there real pushback from Fox News? You're going to ask the genocider, hey, man, are you guys committing a genocide? Me? What, me? No. No, never. I would never do that. Wow. Crazy, breaking journalism from Fox News there. Good God. Or who are they? The Milk Boys? Good God. Hard-hitting questions, guys. Hey, murderer, are you murdering people? No, I would never do that. Oh, all right. We're going to a commercial break. Stay tuned. But anyways, we're not here for this, right? We're here to hear the Douglas Murray talking point. You can hear from the psycho's mouth. Here we go.
And we put in 2 million tons of food. I mean, if we wanted to commit genocide, we wouldn't give 2 million tons of food to the population. And
that, once again, discrepancies in stories from eyewitnesses, putting food depots in war zones and combat zones, people dying trying to get food, not from starvation on their way to getting food, but dying from bullets. And if you watch the whole Tucker Carlson, Tony Aguilar interview, the second one I'm talking about, the second interview, you'll hear that, wait a minute, they're giving these mercenary guys, like, armor-piercing rounds to be security at a place where you're supposed to be giving out, food aid and medical aid and shit. Why do they have armor-piercing rounds? What's that for? Why do they have these special guns that they're not even used to? Like, what are these special fucking killing machine guns? What the fuck is this? Apparently they're automatics, too. Like, why are you giving this to random, like, people you don't know, you haven't vetted truly, to deal with a starving population? Why would you give them killing machines for? Like, we're not stupid, dude. Anyways, let's continue.
also, the reason you see the flattened buildings is because Hamas booby traps every single building. So when we come in, we first have the population moved, even though Hamas tries to keep them in the combat zones. But after they move, and we start to move into the neighborhoods that are now populated only by terrorists, they ignite these booby traps. So what we do is
So he one-ups Douglas Murray. He says, every single building is booby-trapped. That's why you have to knock all of them down. And it's like, damn, Hamas, you got so much weaponry, you should just go head up and fight them. You have that many soldiers and that much munitions. You should be fucking people up. I'm just saying. And obviously, like, once again, the aid centers are in combat zones. Now, did Hamas set up the aid centers, BB? Fuckface, psychopath, BB? Did Hamas set those up? Or did you, along with let's be real, the United States, set up these things? Lying to us, guys. Directly lying to us. And it's like, hey, man, ask him how many people have died. He's going to say Hamas did that. It's Hamas's fault. But then you can just push back on the question and really dig deep into this to where he has to say something that actually makes sense in reality. There's no way you're targeting Hamas and accidentally kill over 20,000 children. There's no fucking way you do that. There is no accident about that. I mean, this guy's going to go down. He's going to be on the right on the fucking side of the milk box, right next to Hitler, bro. He is. Historically, he's going to be there. Maybe he's okay with that? I don't know. But he's going to be there. Maybe the official U.S. government won't put his face on the milk box. But unofficially, the citizens of damn near every country around the world is like, this guy's Hitler. He's equal to Hitler. Once again, maybe he's okay with that. I smell a devil worshiper. Just like Trump. Just like a lot of these leaders. They worship malice. They're okay with that. They will lie, cheat, steal, kill, whatever to get where they want to get. And they make business deals and partnerships with other fucking psycho fucking devil worshippers. And they wreak havoc on the fucking planet while they sip Mai Tais on the beach. When war's going down with Iran, where's this fool at? He ain't in fucking Israel. He has a green screen in front, like behind him. Somewhere probably in Greece or some shit like that. While his own citizens get fucking bombed. So it's like, come on, guys. Let's not be stupid. Then you have the stolen valor. Let's be honest. He stole his brother's valor, too. I honest to God don't make enough videos about this guy. To be honest with you. I probably should. I should start. I mean, I'm openly full of shit. Openly lying to people. Openly massacring people. And wants a handshake when he's done fucking blowing up the world. Like, peak loser. Loser. Dweeby loser. That's gonna be his fucking life story. But you know what? I leave room for change for anyone. They want to change things around. They want redemption. They always have a chance to seek it. It's just, I don't see that coming anytime soon from this fucking idiot. Just honest to God, just destroying his family's own name. Maybe they're with it too. I don't know. But something tells me that the kids don't know what daddy actually does. I think the wife knows. I'll be real with you. But maybe the kids don't even know what daddy does. And it's like, yo, he's going to be statue right next to Hitler, bro, of all-time cunts. It'll be like Mao, Genghis Khan, Hitler, Netanyahu. And Trump will be sitting on his lap. Let's let him finish spewing bullshit. Here we go.
Put in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, with a lot of explosives, detonate it. It sets off all the booby traps, and the buildings begin to collapse as a result of that. They're empty buildings. They're not populated buildings.
Oh, yeah, okay, got it. I mean, it's no big deal because the buildings are empty, right? No big fucking deal. Who cares? The buildings are empty. Who cares?
But I can tell you, I've spent most of this flight looking out of the window at the Gaza Strip below to get a
no big deal.
view
No, but who cares?
of the complete
No big deal. Look at that. No big deal. There's no one in them, guys. What are you worried about?
I mean, we've been flying over neighborhoods where I've visited many times, reporting from Gaza over many years, and in the past,
no one in there. Who cares? Fuck, who cares?
Teeming with people, teeming with traffic, and busy street markets and things like that. And now you look at them from the air, and it just looks like a pile of rubble. Utter devastation on a massive scale. Like,
Bro, who cares? Yo, CNN, fake news. Fake news. CNN, fake news. Hey, CNN, there's no people in those buildings, are there? By the way, there are. There's people underneath the fucking rubble. There are people underneath the fucking rubble. Because plenty of times they bomb with people in the fucking buildings. Then they come by, they claim there's booby traps everywhere, and then they blow the building up again. They get bulldozers and they flatten the motherfucker. And guess what? There's bodies underneath that shit. You want to talk about modern day cursed land? There it is right there. Because watch these fools build casinos and hotels and fucking beach resorts and all this shit over there. And it's like, damn, what type of being would do that in the universe? I think most Christians would say, like, oh, that's the devil. That's what the devil does. I mean, the mass amount of destruction, death, killing, humiliation, like anything to fucking fuck these people over is being done. Have people walk 8 to 10 fucking miles to get some food, and then they can get shot at and get killed anyways. Like it's a fucking game or something. You tell me who does that. Once again, I mean, it's going very slowly, slower than I would like, but there are people in Israel that are starting to like realize what the fuck's going down and what they're gonna look like if they don't stand up to this fucking idiot. Not him, Netanyahu, I mean. There's soldiers with amputated legs and arms saying, fuck you. You sent me here for no fucking reason. And I plan on making a video like this. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but social comparisons between what happened with 9/11 in the U.S. and what happened with October 7th in Israel. I mean, the parallels are just crazy. From the social explanation of things where they don't give you hefty enough evidence of what's going on. They're almost like hiding evidence in a way. To the conspiracy theories that bubble up because of the lack of transparency and investigation. The big event leading to a fucking war. Right? Or military action, let's call it that, because Saddam got ran over pretty fast. And Israel just started just annihilating Gazans, let's be honest. Then the populace rises up, right? In America, they're like, yo, what the fuck are we doing with this? This is too much. Why are we even in Iraq? People start protesting. They get kicked in the face by cops. Get their fucking teeth kicked in. In Israel, people are like, yo, what the fuck is it? Like, what are we doing here? You said this is about getting our hostages back. You're not even trying. Fuck you. Now I'm starting to question everything you do. They start protesting. They get their fucking teeth kicked in by cops. The parallels are amazing. But that might be another video at some other point. But let's get to this. This is the whistleblower that was working, I guess, under the GHF. Not really directly for them, but under them. Tony Aguilar, and he's sitting down with Tucker Carlson, and he has this idea that, once again, where things could actually get worse somehow. Like, this is something I didn't even think about, but this guy has like a combat vet who has served while the U.S. was doing an occupation, right, with Iraq, right, Afghanistan. We were occupying those countries. since he has that experience, since he's been over there in Gaza at these few distribution sites, he's like, yo, if this turns into a full-blown occupation, this is not going to be what people think it's going to be. Like, like things change when you start occupying. I think his logic is, when you're like just bombing willy-nilly, you're bombing from a distance, or you're going in, doing missions, and leaving, that's one thing. But once you start occupying, where you set up bases, you set up whatever the fuck there, that means Hamas will know like your movements. They'll be like, okay, this guy, he goes and drinks his coffee at this spot every fucking day. We've been keeping an eye on him. And that just is just ripe for fucking, attacks. Ambushes. And he's also questioning, how credible are these soldiers in the first place? He said some of them are right, but, like, I don't know if it's in this portion or not. It might be earlier in the video, where he's questioning how legit is the IDF to handle these things. So either way, I'll let him say it. Here we go. There's Tony Aguilar with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson. Here we go.
It hits hard, and
that's loud.
In the coming days and weeks, as Operation Gideon's Chariots has ended, and the Israeli army has to refit into this restructuring for occupation, which is a whole new ballgame. I mean, occupational army, U.S. Army World War II, U.S. Army post-invasion of Iraq, that's when things get really nasty. That's when things get really gray. We think that things are complicated and complex now. Wait until you put an occupation army under the streets of Gaza City.
So if you don't mind fleshing out the difference between what's going on now and a formal occupation.
So right now in the South, so consider if you're a combat force, infantry, armor, tanks, artillery, you're maneuvering against an enemy or not. In this case, I didn't see many enemy out there. I didn't see any enemy out there. When you're an army of occupation, you then become static. You become routine. You become identifiable. That's when counterinsurgency often resonates the most, is that, so right now, if I were Hamas, while the active war is going on, the offensive, I'm laying low. I'm hiding. I'm going to come out and get killed. When the occupation begins, that's when the insurgency presents itself in armed violence.
Yeah, that's when you have permanent bases.
It's going to get
blown up,
violent, and it's going to get deadly. And more deadly. And if the United States doesn't set a firm tone of what's acceptable and what's not, no longer can we have this IDF do what you will and we'll play backup. No, we cannot. The president of the United States needs to set clear, firm expectations and boundaries with our ally. Because this occupation, two things will happen. One, it's going to become extremely violent, grotesquely violent. Markava tanks being blown up on the Salah ad-Din road going into Gaza. The Israelis won't like it. But then also, when forces begin to go into Gaza City and other people start to see the amount of starvation and destitute and destruction, it's going to bring the world to its knees. And it's not going to be a year from now. It's not going to be months from now. Days from now.
When the rest of the world sees what Gaza looks like, is that what you're saying?
Yes, because if you consider, so the Spaniards, the Jordanians, and the French have each gone in and dropped airdrop. Airdrop is ineffective because each aircraft you see flying over.
Okay. I want to stop in there and just say. So I saw this in a World War II documentary talking about, talking about the Holocaust, right? And the people of Germany, a lot of them didn't even know what the fuck was going on, as far as what I've seen. I'm sure a lot of them were, saying, fuck these, outsiders. I don't know if they were screaming like, yeah, just kill them all, kill them all. Like, I think that would be something the military would hide from, because once you see it in your face, I think it takes on a different tone. So, in this World War II documentary, the Allied groups, and I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it is something that seemed to be happening. They made all the German soldiers, after they took over the place, right? They made all the German soldiers grab all the dead bodies and start putting them in places. And they walked the citizens out to those fucking places and made them watch and smell everything. But yo, this is what happened here. You understand it now? Do you guys get it now? Once again, not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm saying that's what happened. And it's kind of a comeuppance type of situation. Where it's like you turned your brains off, you buried your heads in the sand, and now you're watching bodies be buried in the fucking sand. Emaciated bodies. Bullet holes. I mean, death on a massive scale. I don't care what you think happened during the Holocaust. 100% mass death happening. Mass death, mass killing. And they made them sit there and watch it. And it's like, yo, citizens of Israel, if they start walking through Gaza City and seeing the things that this guy's talking about, I mean, he talked about it earlier in this video. I think it was earlier in the video. He talks about like the smell in the air. Like once the wind hits, you can smell death in the fucking air. And he said, like, as a soldier, like back in the day when you were first getting there, like you had to carry dead bodies and move them in the places. During combat or whatever, or not during combat, but after some sort of interaction or combat. So he's saying, like, I know the smell, and that's what you smell in the air when the wind blows in certain places. And I'm saying, like, if there's any chance an Israeli person hears this, like, you gotta like fight for the righteousness to stand up against this bullshit. You kind of have to. Either by, obviously the typical thing is people go out there and protest and grab signs and scream and bullhorns and all that shit. Not everyone's like that. How about non-participation in the bullshit? I think that works too. As like a non-violent way to deal with, let's be real, corrupt psychopathic motherfuckers. That do shit, trying to do shit in your name, by the way. They're not trying to, put themselves at the forefront and say, this is my thing. They say, this is Israel's thing. And the U.S. does the same thing. They want you to take some of the credit for all this stuff. Because, let's be real, they're trying to hide behind you. Don't be that person that gets walked through Gaza City at some point and you see the fucking massacring. And they play your highlight reel years later and say, this is what happened, and the people had no idea. Every time, like, here's another thing that I respect about a lot of these soldiers out there, some of these guys I listen to. Once again, not in love with, I don't like warfare at all. I'm an ultra non-violent person, right? But some of these guys, when I hear them talk, not all of them, but, and once again, they could be lying, but these are the words they say, which is every time your finger's anywhere near that trigger, there's a sense of respect for the killing machine they have in their hands. It isn't just willy-nilly shelling buildings. There's like a care. You can't just shoot those things for fun and shits and giggles. He talked about a story of some of these IDF guys saying, oh no, we're just shooting at the beach. It's like, well, when you have people kind of like, sardine canned in an area, there's people on the fucking beach. Then again, who knows if they're getting war happy and they're killing people. because they're caught up in the thrill of the situation. In their minds, a thrill. Either way, it's like civilians like do not, you know, you don't want to look back at this and be like, I didn't do anything. Once again, I am as anti-violent as it gets, so I would never tell anyone to do anything violent. I mean, I'm just saying what I think you should. It's not what you should do. You should think about it and make your own decisions, but I would say non-violence is the way. And standing up to these things in your own form and fashion. That's where I'm at. Because right now, history is not going to be kind. It's not going to be kind at all. Unless they stop what they're doing with this, Netanyahu, the military and all this shit, unless they stop what they're doing, like right now, I mean, it's already not pretty. There's already war crimes on the table. They should already be, like, Nuremberg trialed. But if they keep going, and it turns into the thing he's talking about with occupation and how deadly that can get, oh my dear Lord. But, all right, here we go.
Days from now.
When the rest of the world sees what Gaza looks like, is that what you're saying?
Yes, because if you consider, so the Spaniards, the Jordanians, and the French have each gone in and dropped airdrop. Airdrop is ineffective because each aircraft you see flying over, pushing out bundles, that's only the equivalent of half of one truck. It's not much at all. Half of one truck only feeds a couple hundred people. One meal. Not to consider what hits the ground and explodes. Most of it doesn't make it to the ground safely. So, those airdrops were for show. For the first time in a long time, others besides the Israeli Defense Force Air Force have seen what Gaza looks like from above. And the Israeli government specifically said no media in the aircraft. But
the video I played of the overhead shot, that was a CNN guy on a Jordanian aircraft. So that's how he got the footage. And I think, like, what was it? Like ITV got some footage too with like a drone, I think. But all right, here we go.
Some of the crew on these aircraft, the Spaniards, the French, the Jordanians, saw that and went back to their governments and were like, this is beyond words. And I can attest to that.
Just from the air, it was obvious to them, the devastation?
So when they're conducting equipment drops, in this case, food pallet drops, it's at a lower altitude. It's not like it's from, it's not like from 10,000 feet in the air. It's like from a lower altitude, which you get a pretty good view of the ground from above. And the scale of devastation in Gaza, that not that I just, I'm not talking about someone that saw this from the outside or someone that saw pictures or someone that looked at a picture and assessed it. It was there, touched it, felt it, smelled it. And
what's it smell like?
So very, for those that have experienced it, the smell of death, human death, has a very unforgettable smell.
You mean like rotting bodies?
Rotting bodies, starvation, the body just breaking down. And when that's in mass, it's overwhelming. I smelled this same smell once in Baghdad during the 2006 timeframe, during the height of the sectarian violence, when Sunni and Shia were just slaughtering each other. And one of our jobs that we had to do during that time was, on our patrols, we would take a truck and a trailer and we would load bodies. Many of veterans have done this. This is recorded history. We would load with the Iraqi army. We would go through neighborhoods and load bodies because they had just been slaughtered. Families slaughtered. That smell.
You did that?
In terms of picking up the bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah. That while in Baghdad in the height of sectarian violence during my very first deployment as a platoon leader, and many a veteran can attest to this because we had to do it. We would have to move through on our combat patrols. We would have to take army trucks and trailers with Iraqi army personnel to load up bodies because there were so many. That smell is something you never forget. In Gaza, standing on the berm of site number 4, looking north to Gaza City. So if you're standing on site number 4 and you're looking south, you see Barish and you see everything to the south towards the Egyptian border. If you're standing on the northern berm, you're looking at Gaza City, the apocalypse. It's the only thing I can describe it as. Well, in the evening when that coastal wind comes over the Mediterranean and sweeps through and that hits you in the face, it smells like death. And to that scale, mark my words, someone that's seen it, someone that's lived it, someone that's touched it, someone that's felt it. When the world gets a look at what's in Gaza City and Jabalia and southern Erez on the Gaza side of the border, the world will not tolerate it. So what I would say to every American leader, politics aside, put the politics aside. We need to be on the right side of history because our allies are close. Some of our, we say that Israel is one of our closest allies. Some of our closest allies, France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, are all standing and we're not. That says something.
Well, well, they had their own problems, but this was obviously predictable from the Trump administration that, even if you take his words on the surface, I view the guy as like he was going to do criminal shit regardless and support criminal shit regardless. But even if you take him at face value, right, and say, oh, he's trying to do something, then he'd be one of the most naive people ever. He thought he could just end Ukraine, Russia. He thought he could just, we'll just get Gazans to just leave. Just let them leave. Hey, Bibi, go finish the job, Bibi. Finish the job. Whatever the fuck that means. Which I assume means get him the fuck out of here. Don't worry, Bibi, I'll help you find a place to put him. They floated Libya, actually, at some point this year, of moving 1 million people to Libya from Palestine, from Gaza. Oh, man. This guy, he's very compelling when he talks. He's very compelling. I'm not saying believe every word. I'm not saying I do either. But, keep your critical eye on. But still, the amount of detail and the compellingness and the way he talks is just interesting to listen to. You'd even see Tucker almost keeling over. He's just locked into what the guy's saying. Very interesting portion of the interview. And I think that's maybe the biggest thing. The thing that I was, I try to talk about often where it's it ain't some shit where it's in a history book in the 1940s and you can see black and white video of damn, how dumb were these people to allow this to happen? Meaning the Holocaust. Well, shit like that is happening in your lifetime. Straight up. And it's just to let you know that the world has not, all of a sudden just, we've gotten past, massive tragedy and massacres and shit like that. We're nowhere near it. Nowhere fucking close to it. They should find it interesting that it's maybe Trump, the Trump and the Trump administration, maybe they disappointed you with what they're doing, but there's no way you thought it'd go to this level, right? Where there is just all over the internet a blatant massacre genocide happening, and your president says, I don't see anything. Yeah, it seems pretty bad over there, but, October 7th and Hamas. And he goes on his whole spiel from there. This is beyond just disappointment. This is this guy's a flat-out criminal. And even that, he's taking the criminality to another level. Guys like him and Netanyahu, they're going to another level of criminality. Towards like, damn, do we call this criminality? Or just some devil worshiping shit? It's beyond. But once again, still not. There's a lot. If I had to guess, probably most Americans don't truly know what's like all the information that's out there about what's happening in Gaza. Straight up. A lot of them are still talking about money still. Like, they're still in the money phase. Like, man, we got homeless veterans here. Why are we giving money to Israel? Like, well, this is why they're giving money to Israel. But, all right, I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to, like, I like trying to put threads together so you can see, okay, here's Douglas Murray arguing with Dave Smith, all right? And he's saying they bulldoze housing because they're all booby-trapped. Then, months later, Netanyahu comes out and says, well, all those houses are booby-trapped. That's why we have to knock them down. Like, we detonate the booby traps, and the building just crumbles on the ground. It just turns into dust. Like, that's not believable. It's just not believable. But somehow these two distinct human beings, right, from different time, like actually months in between these people saying these things, and they're saying the same exact shit. In the destruction, when Douglas Murray said it, as massive as it was, it's the time we're at now, it's even more. Say, hey guys, if they were just booby trapping houses and they're just trying to do, like, you know, detonate the bombs and the booby traps safely, why are you hiding? Why are you not allowing people to get media coverage of it? How come no one's allowed to see it from the sky? Oh, we do. We have footage now. I think it's pretty obvious why they're trying to hide that. Yeah. But, alright, I'll leave it there. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment sections. Or just your thoughts about anything. Let it be known. Do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. And also check out the Discord link if you want to join the Discord. All opinions welcome. And with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down.